The dashboard reads 10:45 p.m. Sarah, a nurse exhausted after a 12-hour shift, pulls into the drive-thru. The yellow glow of the golden arches reflects off the wet glass. She just wants a coffee and a sandwich. She speaks to the digital panel. The sound is muffled by the noise of the windshield wipers and the diesel engine of a truck in the next lane. Sarah murmurs her order, almost out of strength. The system hesitates. 2 seconds of an uncomfortable digital silence. Suddenly, the screen flashes with an absurd list. Added 9 iced sweet teas, 2 vanilla McFlurries, and extra bacon. Sarah tries to correct it. She speaks louder, her voice now carrying an irritation bordering on despair. The machine, imperturbable, ignores the correction and asks if she wants to upsize a meal.
What is taking so long? Move it now!
Behind her, the line of cars begins to snake out of the establishment, horns creating a symphony of impatience. What Sarah is experiencing is not just a service failure. It is a collapse of $1 billion bet. While she fights with a robotic voice, in a war room in Chicago, executives analyze latency and error charts. They realize that the technology supposed to be the salvation of profit margins has just become the biggest negative meme in the brand history. The clear promise. What you are about to witness is the autopsy of an unprecedented technological war. We are going to open the black box of the largest artificial intelligence failure ever recorded in global retail. You will discover why McDonald's decided to fire IBM in a move that shocked Silicon Valley, and how the new and secret alliance with Google Cloud is being designed to ensure that Sarah and you never receive bacon on an ice cream again. This is not a video about hamburgers. It is about the desperate race for control over your scarcest resource, your time. Get ready to understand how McDonald's transformed into a technology company disguised as a burger joint, and why the future of your job might be decided right now, in a drive-thru test somewhere in the United States. Deep development. Behind the fall, the IBM fiasco. The partnership between McDonald's and IBM, launched with great fanfare in 2021, was sold to the market as a marriage of the century between fast food tradition and the vanguard of cognitive computing. IBM brought its arsenal of natural language processing, the famous Watson, attempting to adapt it to the chaotic environment of a restaurant. But the backstage reveals a chaotic reality. The drive-thru is perhaps the most hostile environment in the world for an AI. Loud engines, children screaming in the backseat, strong winds hitting the microphones, and worst of all, an infinity of regional accents and slang. IBM's AI suffered from what engineers call contextual hallucinations. It couldn't distinguish between "I don't want onions" and "I want onions." The result was an avalanche of TikTok videos where customers showed orders reaching hundreds of dollars due to pure systemic error. Accuracy, which was supposed to be above 95%, barely reached levels acceptable for a high-performance operation, generating an operational cost of human correction that negated any predicted savings. The strategic firing, the end of the IBM era. In June 2024, the market received an internal memo that sounded like a cannon shot. McDonald's was officially ending AI testing with IBM in more than 100 units, although the official tone was one of mutual learning. The truth behind the scenes was a summary dismissal for failure to deliver results. IBM, seeking a massive use case in McDonald's to validate its voice technologies, saw the contract torn up in the face of its inability to handle real-world complexity. The consequences were immediate. A profound review of the fast food giant's AI strategy and a warning sign for all companies that believed old guard AI could solve retail problems in real time. McDonald's realized it needed something more fluid, more generative, and less based on the rigid decision trees that IBM offered. The new alliance, giant Google Cloud, enters the field. McDonald's did not retreat. It simply swapped armies. We have verified that the new global strategic partnership is with Google Cloud. This is not just a software supply contract. It is a deep integration under the project called McDonald's Next. Google is injecting its generative AI technology, Vertex AI, directly into the veins of the operation. The difference is brutal. While the previous technology tried to guess words, Google's AI uses large language models to understand the customer's intent, filtering background noise with state-of-the-art noise cancellation algorithms originally developed for Pixel smartphones. More than just taking orders, this new alliance aims to create the smart restaurant, where AI monitors everything from fryer temperatures to demand forecasting based on local traffic and weather, all processed via edge computing for instantaneous responses. Google Cloud offers McDonald's the scale and fluidity that IBM failed to deliver, transforming every point of sale into a living data processing center. The hungry crowd and the currency of time. To understand McDonald's, you have to forget the food. McDonald's operates in what Gary Halbert would call the hungriest of markets, the market of absolute convenience. In the United States, the drive-thru is not a luxury. It is vital infrastructure. It represents about 70% of the company's entire revenue on American soil. We are talking about a market that moves billions of dollars annually and thrives on a single metric: service time. For McDonald's, time is a currency more valuable than the dollar. If they can reduce service time by just 10 seconds, it translates into hundreds of millions of dollars in additional profit by the end of the fiscal year. The modern consumer is impatient. They are willing to trade gourmet quality for surgical speed. McDonald's does not compete with Burger King for the best beef. It competes with a clock for your attention and speed. The drive-thru is the heart of the business because it is where maximum efficiency meets the highest profit margin. The irresistible offer versus the labor controversy, the epic failure, the IBM era, 9 sweet teas. That was the order an IBM AI insisted a customer wanted, even as she screamed, "Stop." Welcome to the Museum of Failures of the Golden Arches. 1. The billion-dollar bet, the IBM and McDonald's marriage. The partnership between McDonald's and IBM was not a simple test. It was a strategic bet of global proportions initiated in 2021. At that moment, the world was emerging from a pandemic with an unprecedented labor crisis in the United States. McDonald's needed a solution that wouldn't get sick and wouldn't ask for a raise. They decided to sell their technology division, MCD Tech Labs, to IBM, sealing a deal to create the automated order taker, AOD. The bet was clear: harness the power of Watson, IBM's AI, to process orders with precision that no human could maintain under pressure. It was a dream of maximum efficiency, but what executives failed to foresee was that the environment of a drive-thru is a Vietnam for voice recognition. 2. The Museum of Errors, when AI loses control. What happened on the streets was a true festival of digital horrors. Real stories began to flood the internet, exposing the AI's inability to deal with reality. One of the most famous cases, which accumulated millions of views, was that of a young woman trying to order just an ice cream and water. On the screen, the AI began obsessively adding bacon to the vanilla McFlurry. No matter how much she denied it, the machine seemed determined to create a new and bizarre recipe. Another emblematic case involved what became known as the Nuggets disaster. A customer at a Washington drive-thru watched in horror as the AI added hundreds of chicken McNuggets to his cart, raising the bill to over $200 in seconds. The system entered a processing loop, unable to understand the cancellation command, leaving the customer and staff in a state of absolute frustration. There was also the story of 2 friends who, when trying to order a simple combo, saw the AI add orders from neighboring cars to their account, creating a logistical confusion that jammed the line for 15 minutes. These errors were not just technical failures. They were examples of AI hallucination in a high-pressure environment. IBM's AI couldn't filter out the noise of diesel engines, the crying of children in the back seat, or wind hitting the microphone. The result was a collection of hundreds of disappointed customers who expected speed and received an impossible digital puzzle. 3. The TikTok factor, viral humiliation. What could have been an internal engineering error became a worldwide joke thanks to TikTok. The hashtag #McDonald'sAI became a repository of corporate humiliation. 15-second videos destroyed years of marketing campaigns that promised a future service for a brand that lives on perception of convenience. Seeing millions of people laugh at its inability to take a coffee order is lethal. In today's world, perceived efficiency is as important as actual efficiency, and TikTok proved that IBM's AI was, in fact, a bottleneck of slowness and mockery. 4. The brutal decision, the end of the Watson era. In June 2024, McDonald's finally admitted defeat. In an internal memo sent to franchisees, Mason Smoot, the director of restaurants in the USA, announced the termination of the partnership with IBM across all 100-plus test units. The contract was ended with a bitter conclusion. IBM's natural language processing technology, based on more rigid models, didn't work for the chaos of the real world. McDonald's observed a dangerous trend. While they tried to force outdated technology, the world was advancing toward generative AI. They realized that continuing with IBM would be like trying to win a Formula One race using a tractor engine. The decision was brutal, but necessary to stop the bleeding of image and prepare the ground for something far more powerful. They weren't giving up on automation. They were simply admitting that the current partner didn't have the DNA necessary for the next phase of the war. IBM's exit left a question hanging in the air. Did McDonald's finally surrender to human error? The short answer is never. In an empire built on relentless efficiency, a failure is just data for the next victory. They didn't retreat. They simply switched armies and strategy. To understand why McDonald's has this almost supernatural resilience in the face of technological failure, we need to go back in time. We need to understand the mind of the man who transformed a roadside lunch counter into a global war machine. Prepare yourself, because now we're going to dive into the anatomy of growth and the DNA of Ray Kroc. The Money Machine, Kroc's DNA and the Anatomy of Growth. Rewritten hook. Ray Kroc was the greatest thief in business history. He didn't steal a hamburger recipe. He stole the soul of a kitchen and transformed it into a cold, calculating, unstoppable war machine. If you think McDonald's sells food, you've already fallen into the first trap of the system. They sell a dictatorship of efficiency where human error is the only unforgivable crime. The story of power, from California to global domination, what began in 1940 as a simple barbecue stand in San Bernardino, California, by brothers Richard and Maurice McDonald, was not an empire. It was an engineering experiment. But when Ray Kroc stepped onto that ground in 1954, he didn't see just milkshakes. He saw a global distribution network waiting to be activated. Kroc understood that to scale from 1 unit to 40,000, he needed something stronger than taste. He needed absolute control. McDonald's expansion is the greatest story of corporate power in the 20th century. Kroc didn't just franchise lunch counters. He created a system where the franchisee was an operator of a larger gear. With the strategic help of Harry Sonneborn, he transformed McDonald's into a real estate giant. We're not in the hamburger business, Sonneborn would say. We're in the real estate business. The only reason we sell hamburgers is because they're the biggest rent generators that exist. This mentality allowed the brand to ignore cultural boundaries. Today, with over 40,000 units, McDonald's is present in more than 100 countries. They colonize the world's palate, not through gastronomy, but through omnipresence. Every new golden arch raised is a landmark of a logistical infrastructure that would make war generals jealous. It is a system that feeds itself on scale, where growth is not an option. It is the only form of oxygen the machine accepts to keep spinning. Constant innovation, the AI system of the 1950s. In the 1950s, while the rest of the world still waited 20 minutes for a meal, the McDonald brothers created the Speedy Service System. This was the artificial intelligence of that era. They drew the kitchen on a tennis court with chalk, simulating every step of the employees to eliminate unnecessary seconds. It was the first time Henry Ford's assembly line was applied to ground beef. There were no waiters, no ceramic plates, no silverware. Everything was reduced to the essential. This constant innovation is what defines the brand's DNA. McDonald's is a system enslaved to innovation. They were the first to standardize the exact size of potatoes, the precise temperature of oil, and the pressure of ketchup. Every technological innovation since then, from frying timers to self-service kiosks, serves a single master: the reduction of friction between the customer's desire and the receipt of the product. Stocks and market, Wall Street safe haven. On Wall Street, the ticker MCD is not just a stock. It is a financial bunker. While technology companies rise and fall like roller coasters, McDonald's displays a resilience that borders on the supernatural. It is what investors call a dividend aristocrat. During recessions, pandemics, and wars, people may stop buying cars or iPhones, but they don't stop eating a $5 Big Mac. The brand functions as a safe haven because its business model is recession-proof. McDonald's makes money from franchisee rent, sales royalties, and real estate appreciation on the world's most expensive land. This stability attracts the largest investment funds on the planet. When the market panics, capital runs to the golden arches. It is a cash-generating machine that depends on constant evolution to maintain its margins. If technology fails, the stock trembles. This is why McDonald's cannot afford to fail at AI. Every percentage point of efficiency recovered is another $1 billion in market value. The mentality is relentless, optimize or die. The Halbert mentality, the hungry market. Gary Halbert always said, "Give me a hungry crowd, and I'll sell them anything." McDonald's mastered the art of identifying what the public really wants. And what the public wants is not a $20 artisanal hamburger that takes 30 minutes to prepare. The public wants cheap, accessible, predictable food, and above all, now. They identified the hungry market for convenience and built an irresistible offer based on speed. The psychology is simple. Remove thought from the buying process. When you see the golden arches, your brain already knows the taste, the price, and how long it will take. It is direct sales applied to the palate. They don't try to convince you they're the best. They just guarantee they're the fastest and most consistent. Final transition, the friction of a human voice. But even with all this mechanical perfection, one last bottleneck remains. A point of friction that Ray Kroc's engineering still hasn't fully eliminated. The human voice. The error in taking an order. The fatigue of the attendant. The accent the machine doesn't understand. In the drive-thru, the human has become the slowest and most expensive component of the gear. The friction now has a name and a surname, and McDonald's has decided it needs to be removed. The solution will not come from new staff training, but from an alliance with the world's largest data processor. Google holds the key to silencing human error forever. ArchIQ and the leap to Google Cloud. McDonald's is no longer looking for just an interface that hears what you say. They are building a digital consciousness that understands what you want. Forget basic voice recognition. Welcome to the era of ArchIQ, where artificial intelligence stops being a tool and starts being the brain of the entire operation. The new era, ArchIQ and the Google ecosystem. The transition to Google Cloud wasn't just a change of vendor. It was a paradigm shift within the McDonald's next project. ArchIQ isn't a simple order-taking software. It's a sophisticated layer of intelligence running on Google's Vertex AI platform. We are talking about technology that utilizes large language models, LLMs, to process information in real time with human-like fluidity. Unlike anything seen before, ArchIQ is capable of learning from every interaction, refining its interpretation skills with every car that pulls into the drive-thru. It was designed to be the core of a connected ecosystem, where the AI doesn't just hear the customer, but analyzes tone of voice, hesitation, and conversation context. This infrastructure allows McDonald's to process massive data through edge computing, ensuring the machine's response is instantaneous, eliminating that uncomfortable digital silence that killed the user experience in previous versions. It is a definitive fusion of Google's computational power and the Golden Arch's operational scale. Technical differentiator. Why Google wins where IBM failed. The technical abyss between IBM's old solution and Google's new architecture lies in the transition from simple voice recognition to generative contextual AI. IBM used systems based on rigid decision trees and previous generation natural language processing, which broke down in the face of any acoustic unpredictability. Google, on the other hand, brought the same noise-canceling technology and acoustic intelligence found in Pixel smartphones to the drive-thru, capable of isolating the customer's voice even amidst the roar of diesel engines, wind, and heavy traffic. While IBM tried to guess isolated words, ArchIQ understands the intent behind the sentence. If a customer says, "I wanted a Big Mac, but no pickles," "Oh, and make a medium Coke," Google's generative AI processes the entire sentence as a block of intent, whereas the old system would get lost in the mid-sentence corrections. It's the difference between a robot following a script and an intelligence maintaining a dialogue. The real test, the trial by fire on American soil. Currently, McDonald's isn't just theorizing. The ArchIQ system is already in real, controlled operation. The system is being tested in 5 strategic locations across the United States. functioning as high-pressure living laboratories. These locations were handpicked to represent different logistical and demographic challenges, from ultra-busy urban drive-thrus to units with high external noise levels. The goal of these tests is to collect raw data to ensure that when the global rollout happens, the technology is invisible and infallible. McDonald's is being surgical. They learned from the viral bloodbath on TikTok and are now seeking silent perfection before hitting the scale button for thousands of other units. Total integration, smart and predictive upsells. The true gold mine of Arch IQ, however, lies in its capacity for total integration with customer databases and external variables. The system doesn't stop at taking the order. It acts as a master salesman trained by the best copywriters in the world. If sensors detect cold weather, Arch IQ suggests a hot coffee or a fresh apple pie. If the customer's app history shows a preference for breakfast items, the AI personalizes a suggestion based on the time of day and consumption profile. This generates an immediate increase in the average ticket through upsells that don't feel forced, but convenient. Of course, this approach raises questions about privacy and the limits of algorithmic persuasion. But for McDonald's, the benefit is unquestionable. A machine that never forgets to offer the large fries and knows exactly what you want before you even finish speaking. Transition to Block 5. But make no mistake, all this technological apparatus, as impressive as it may be, is just the tip of the iceberg. Arch IQ is the armed wing of something much larger and deeper. To understand where McDonald's is heading, we need to look beyond Google's code. We need to enter the war room where technology meets pure strategy. Because this isn't just about a software upgrade. It's about a relentless method of market domination. Prepare yourself, for we are now entering Strategy Next, the method behind the empire. Strategy Next, the method behind the empire. Hook. CEO Chris Kempczynski isn't just opening restaurants. He's installing profit terminals. The plan is clear. 10,000 new locations and artificial intelligence in every single one of them by 2027. The goal? An efficiency so relentless that human error will become a costly memory of the past. The McDonald's Next ecosystem. The McDonald's Next strategy, part of the global Accelerating the Arches initiative, is the company's response to a world where digital convenience is no longer a differentiator, but a prerequisite. It's not just about opening new doors. It's about integrating every unit into a unified digital ecosystem. The focus lies on the 4Ds: digital, delivery, drive-thru, and development. McDonald's Next aims to transform the restaurant into a data hub that communicates in real time with the app, kiosks, and the kitchen. It is a creation of a retail neural network where demand is predicted before the customer even joins the line, allowing for aggressive expansion with logistical precision that few companies on the planet can replicate. The war against costs, automation, and labor. The impact of automation and AI on the cost structure is the irresistible offer that McDonald's presents to its shareholders. In a landscape of persistent inflation and pressure from rising minimum wages in the United States, such as California's AB 1228 law, which raised the fast food floor to $20 per hour, AI stops being a technological luxury and becomes a necessity for margin survival. Automating service drastically reduces labor dependency in repetitive roles, allowing the operation to scale without fixed costs following in the same proportion. For McDonald's, every second saved by AI and every order error avoided represents a direct margin recovery that, multiplied by 40,000 stores, generates $1 billion impact on the bottom line. The human dilemma and job displacement. While efficiency is a North Star, there's a balanced and necessary reflection on the role of the worker. McDonald's publicly states that the technology aims to support teams, freeing employees from mechanical tasks to focus on hospitality and kitchen complexity. However, it is undeniable that the trend points toward leaner, highly specialized teams operating machines rather than just serving people. The concern over structural unemployment is real and closely monitored, but the company seems to believe that the evolution of labor is inevitable. The challenge is balancing the pursuit of profit with maintaining a public image that still relies on welcoming golden arches, not just cold metallic boxes. India, the global technological brain, one of the most strategic and at times controversial parts of this machine is the use of India as the global hub for technology and data governance. McDonald's has established centers of excellence in cities like Bengaluru and Mumbai, where thousands of engineers design the platform architecture that runs worldwide. This choice isn't just about cost. It's about scale and technical specialization. This is where the brain of Arch IQ and other AI systems is refined. However, centralizing critical data and architecture in an international hub sparks discussions about data sovereignty and the dependence on remote infrastructure for local operations. For McDonald's, it's a masterstroke. Top-tier talent with cost efficiency, ensuring that innovation never stops. 24 hours a day, Wall Street and the value-generating machine. Wall Street observes this movement with almost religious enthusiasm. For investors, McDonald's is a dividend aristocrat, and total automation is a promise that those dividends will keep growing. Historically, the brand has always delivered value through standardization. Now, AI promises the ultimate standardization. Analysts see the expansion of profit margins as a direct consequence of reducing operational friction. When McDonald's removes a variable of human error, it makes cash flow more predictable and secure. This is why MCD stock remains a safe haven. The market trusts that, regardless of crisis, McDonald's will always find a technological way to be more efficient than yesterday. Transition to Block 6. But while Wall Street's charts point upward and Google Cloud's machines process millions of orders without hesitation, a fundamental question begins to echo in corporate corridors and at customers' tables. If efficiency is relentless and the system is perfect, what happens to the connection that made us love this brand in the first place? We are building a future of absolute convenience, but at what cost to our experience? Prepare yourself, for we are now entering the final chapter of this journey. The future consumption and the final question: where does the human fit into this story? The future of consumption and the human factor. The question isn't whether you'll be served by an AI, but whether you'll even notice the difference. The future is invisible. Main content: the giant's lesson for your business. For you, the entrepreneur, what McDonald's has just taught us is a brutal lesson in resilience and long-term vision. They accepted a public bloodbath with IBM, endured the humiliation of viral errors, and absorbed the loss of millions in failed tests. Why? Because they know that failure is part of the process of dominating a new frontier. In innovation, failure is not the opposite of success. It is the rough draft of it. McDonald's used the wreckage of the IBM partnership to build the foundation upon which Google Cloud now operates. The true mastery here is not the total replacement of man by machine, but the surgical balance between them. Automation takes over the tyranny of speed, calculation, and repetition. Tasks where we as humans are flawed and slow. This frees the human touch for where it is truly irreplaceable. In hospitality, in solving complex problems, and in the empathy that no line of code can ever simulate. The future belongs to companies that automate the process, to humanize the relationship. If you want to dominate your market, learn from the golden arches. Do not be afraid to fail fast, as long as that failure brings you closer to relentless efficiency. Conclusion: Arch IQ, powered by the Oracle AI Key architecture, is not just a software upgrade. It is the first concrete step toward the birth of a self-managing restaurant. We are moving from the era of tools to the era of autonomous systems, where the operation learns, corrects, and scales itself 24 hours a day, without hesitation. Delivery of the promise. In this journey, we've seen how Google's AI corrects IBM's myopia by swapping simple word recognition for a deep understanding of context and intent. On your next visit to the United States, don't just expect a robot that takes orders. Expect an invisible experience where the machine knows who you are and what you want before you even open your mouth. The bacon on the ice cream error is a thing of the past. The future is a straight line of absolute convenience. Call to action, CTA. If you want to understand how these moves by global giants impact your pocket and your market, you need to follow those who are on the battlefield every day, analyzing every detail of the war for attention and efficiency. Like this video, if it expanded your business vision, share it with that partner who is still afraid to innovate. Follow our profile so you don't miss the next strategic analyses.